Hi, welcome back. Today I am sharing a card I made for the Cut Shop using the Fancy Feathers cut file. So to start out, I cut the feathers on a white piece of cardstock and I sized them down to fit on the front of a standard size card. So the card is going to be 4¼ by 5½. So I measured down the feathers to 4 by 5¼ So I prepared the feathers with my magic powder bag, and now I'm using my Versamark and a stamp from Hero Arts that kind of looks like an ink splatter. And I'm going to make each one of these feathers look like they are gold dipped. So just like the edges of them were dipped in some gold ink. So what I want to go ahead and do is place the embossing powder on each one of those feathers individually so the Versamark doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to heat up the edges of that embossing powder so that gets all melted and shiny. And then I'll be all ready to decorate the rest of those feathers. So I'm just cleaning up my surface and I'm going to let my heat gun heat up and get nice and hot and then melt that embossing powder. So once that's all melted, I'm going to grab some of my red line tape and I'm going to place that along the stems or the base of those feathers. So I'll wrap the red line tape and over the front and back of those feathers. And then I'm going to take that twine there from Lawn Fawn and I'm just going to carefully wrap it wherever I have that red line tape. So all the way around that paper, I'm just going to wrap that twine. And I only showed one on the video today just because I didn't think you'd want to sit there and watch me wrap the twine around all the feathers. So I'll just show you really quick here. I'm going to grab that twine and just slowly wrap it around the base of that feather. So red line tape is really great for that because it's super strong. So although I sped up the video here, I moved nice and slow and made sure that that twine was burnished down into that red line tape really well. So as soon as I finish all the feathers, wrapping around all the feathers, I'm going to grab my multi-medium in matte and the edges of the twine that hang off, I'm just going to adhere to the back of the feather and stick that down nice and well. And I'll grab my stamp block and just place my stamp block over the edges of that twine to make sure that stays down nice and well. So I'm going to speed up here and show you once I have all 3 of those feathers finished. And now I'm ready to put together the rest of my card. So I'm going to grab those 3 feathers and I'm going to pop them up with some dimensional adhesive. This adhesive is the Sticky Thumb from American Crafts. And I'll link down below where I got that. So I'm going to place that on the back of the feathers. And then I'm going to take some vellum and I'm going to adhere the 3 feathers on top of some vellum. But first I'll take the vellum and I'll adhere it to my work surface just so I can use the grid to make sure that I get all those feathers lined up perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my vellum and attach that down to my work surface. And then I'll adhere the 3 feathers. And I'm going to put the feathers down horizontally from top to bottom on that piece of vellum. And then I'll take the vellum and I will adhere it to another piece of a white cardstock that's just slightly smaller than the standard size card, and then take that and adhere that to my card base. So essentially I'll have the feathers, the vellum, white cardstock, and then my card base. And this just adds a few more layers of dimension and interest to the card, which I like. So when I was looking at this card, I wanted to add just a little bit more definition to those feathers. So I'm going to take a piece of twine, and on that center feather, I'm just going to tie a knot and give a little bit of definition to that center feather just to kind of separate it out. Now, to adhere my vellum to the cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and use my red line tape again, because after I had added the twine to those little cut files, the front of that card became quite heavy, and I just didn't think that my normal adhesive would be strong enough to adhere it down to that cardstock. So I just used some red line tape and made sure that I placed it right behind the feathers so the adhesive wouldn't show through the vellum. So I'm just going to place that down, burnish it down, and then place it on top of my first piece of cardstock and then adhere it to the card base. And that will complete the card today. So go ahead and stay tuned till the very end to see some still shots. And then also make sure you go and check out the Cut Shop blog for another card that I made using the Fancy Feathers cut file. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. If not, have a great day. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.